Welcome to Occult Unmasked. I'm John Razimus. In this episode, we will explore the mystery, the enigma that is Crispin Hellion Glover. I will do an album review of his album released in 1989 entitled The Big Problem Does Not Equal the Solution. The solution equals Let It Be. Thank you for watching. So the next album I'm going to do a physical vinyl review and occult analysis on is going to be an obscure album by Crispin Hellion Glover. The album is called The Big Problem, and Crispin Glover went on David Letterman to plug this.
What is this here you have, Crispin? This is a
record that I made. I've written all the words and lyrics. It was produced by Barnes and Barnes, and there's a big problem that
it's kind of a puzzle, right?
Yeah, there are things that you have to figure out. There's a string that ties everything together,
right?
And there's this theme, and you have to figure out what it is that ties it all together. There's a phone number on the back that people have to call up when they figure out.
And there's a prize. There's a prize for it.
Well, I'll call them if they get it right.
I see.
Yes.
And have people gotten it right?
Yeah, 10 people have gotten it correct.
So you have sold some records then?
Yes, indeed.
So he was very proud of it at the time. It's not a typical album. It's a puzzle album. Some of the songs are spoken word, if not all of them. I haven't listened to this whole thing yet. I've only listened to Clowny Clown Clown on YouTube. So I picked up this album, which is pretty rare, pretty obscure, and definitely a lot of weird stuff going on with this guy. I was able to meet Crispin Glover at a viewing of one of his films. The film was called What Is It? That seems to be a theme that even runs through this album. What is it? What's the big problem? When I saw Crispin Glover, I bought one of his books. Book's called Concrete Inspection, and he did sign it, which was nice of him. It's a very strange book. His company is called Volcanic Eruptions. And here's what he signed for me. For John, thank you for coming to What Is It? From Crispin Hellion Glover. So very cool guy, very cool guy. This book features his style, which is kind of like cutting out different pictures from different books and places and making his own story as it goes along. And I think the highlight of this book is when he uses the word density. He's clearly referencing his famous line in Back to the Future, "You're my density. Oh, I mean my destiny." And he's very, very interesting guy. So without further ado, I'm going to have to listen to this whole album and give a review. My review is going to be based on the physical aspects of the actual physical vinyl and any occult references. Now, off the top of my head, without even looking at anything other than the superficial cover, putting his head over Jesus. Now, that's definitely occult related, I'll tell you that. When you put your head over a sacred religious figure, you're definitely practicing some type of chaos magic. Chaos magic is the blaspheming of a religious artifact or figure on purpose for an effect of whatever the case may be. Obviously, he's doing it for a shocking effect. And it's a mild form of chaos magic, which I'm not even sure he knows what chaos magic is, but this is one of the clues. So these are the different clues: getting out of bed, clowns, indigent, righteous, self-manipulation with discrimination against others, cleanliness, the killing and maiming of defenseless animals, boots, the daring young man on the flying trapeze, who might just as easily be called a gloating woman seducer, Charles Manson never saying never to always, Adolf Hitler circa 1932, Audrey Long circa 1868, Audrey/Hitler in the minds of history forevermore, And this is also one of his other books, Rat Catching. Interesting book. Oakmont ABC. Now, this is definitely some absurdist stuff going on. I mean, possibly even Discordianism type absurdist stuff going on, you know, based on just a general reference of someone putting out an album like this. You might think they're certified insane, and it's possible. Crispin Glover had a phone number if you could figure out what the big problem was to call that number. It has since been disconnected, but I think you can call one of his other numbers, which you can probably find on his website. Someone asked Crispin Glover not too long ago, has anyone solved the big problem? Can you tell me what it is? What is it? Crispin said, I can't tell you what it is, but yes, a few people have solved and given the answer of what the big problem is. So very few people have answered it to his satisfaction. Very few people. It was just an answering service. When you called that number, it went to an answering service. And I'm sure he didn't call anybody back until they gave him the correct answer. But I did a Google search, not too extensive, just 5 minutes trying to see any references, and pretty much the only thing I could find were these clues that are already on the back of the album. So pretty much no one has revealed on the internet what the big problem's answer is, the secret mystery of this album. No one has published it on the internet, and I'm glad no one has, because Crispin, you know, he gave a good 1 hour lecture after the movie screening, What Is It? And he said he's not a fan of revealing the answer. He's not a fan of just giving away the answer to an enigma. Perhaps he has created a character, and he'll go on David Letterman with that character, and he won't let anyone know that that character is not him. He wants intelligent people out there to figure out for themselves that that's a character. Perhaps he's plugging a character for one of his movies. Perhaps he's plugging a character for his album. In the music video for this album, Clowny Clown Clown, he plays his character, Mr. Farr.
I hated that clown, but not as much as Mr. Farr. I'm gonna go smoke a cigar.
Mr. Farr is a character from his movie, Rubin and Ed. A very unsuccessful movie. So unsuccessful, it was never released past VHS. So as far as I know, there is not a Rubin and Ed DVD. I did watch the movie, and it's interesting. It's interesting. It's definitely a Crispin Glover classic. I think should be converted to Blu-ray, if not DVD. Now, I don't know what the answer is. I just listened to the whole album for the first time ever. The only song I heard previously was Clowny Clown Clown. That's, I guess, the hit of the album. I made some notes as I listened to the songs. The words are pretty absurdist. Absurdist. If I had to sum up this entire album in one word, it's purposefully absurdist. It's supposed to be an enigma on purpose. I'm going to try to solve this, though. Crispin is really big into secrecy and not sharing answers with everyone. So if you actually know it, don't reveal it. I'm not going to reveal it. It's against the rules of Crispin Glover's entire, just every fiber of his being says don't share the answer with everyone. That goes along with everything about his life. Even to this day, on candid radio shows, he'll drop hints here and there on questionable things about his life, just paradoxical things. But he doesn't like just revealing the blunt answer, especially if he's playing a character. You know how Sacha Baron Cohen plays Borat and plays Bruno and plays these many different characters. He'll admit those are characters for a movie. But Crispin won't always admit it. Earlier in his career, he would go on David Letterman and be his character, Mr. Farr. David Letterman wasn't in on the joke, and so David Letterman kicked him off the show because he didn't know what was going on.
I've been on talk shows on the Johnny Carson show, and now I'm here, and I've been all across the United States, and I feel really good about it. So.
Do you enjoy the experience?
Yes, I feel very good about them.
Rubin Farr.
Hello, Rubin. What a tremendous day. Nope.
Why don't you keep your hands off other people's refrigerators? My cat can eat a whole watermelon.
Rubin and Ed. Starring Crispin Glover.
Do you want to arm wrestle? No. I've been taking. No, I've been taking part. These aren't mine. I can kick.
Okay. I'm going to go check on the top 10.
No, I'm sorry.
I wasn't expecting one of the guests to actually kick me, you know.
Well, I didn't make contact or.
Those were not your normal clothes, were they, Crispin?
Well, they're mine. I own them. Yes.
Right. You had a little something on your mind, as we found out later. Why don't you just explain what you had hoped to accomplish by that little presentation?
Well, what did you get? I mean, what do you,
You know, you're seconds away from being slapped.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
Okay.
I'm just teasing.
No,
Now, Crispin, folks, now wait a minute. Well, just tell the folks what you were going to do. You had a little outfit on, and you had a little thing in mind, and you wanted to arm wrestle me, you wanted to kick me. Now, what was that all about? Because clearly that you're not the same guy.
Well, I guess.
Which I guess is too bad for you. But just relax.
It's this kind of thing, you know. It's this. It's self-explanatory, kind of. I mean, there it was, or there it is, or.
The solution equals let it be. So let it be. I don't know if that's a reference to the Beatles. It probably is.
From Romper Room, there's the Doobie on Romper Room.
Right.
And this is the Doobie, and it plays whispered words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. So that's the Doobie from Romper Room. Yeah.
The seventh song is a cover of These Boots Were Made for Walking. The music in the background is perfect, but he purposefully has a lisp, and he purposely sings as bad as he possibly can. Almost as if he is reproducing the worst karaoke you can possibly think of. I'll try to do an impression. These boots for walking, just purposefully really bad. I guess for comedy purposes. You know, I got the impression it felt like a Jim Carrey skit from In Living Color that was cut because it wasn't funny enough. That's just kind of the vibe I got from that cover. The next song sounds like an Irish folk limerick type song. And while I was listening to this song, I had the thought, you know, this is so bad that it's bad on purpose. But for what purpose would Crispin Glover go to this length? The thought that went through my mind as I was listening to this song is it almost seems like he made this entire album to show off and to play on dates. Not to brag, but to anti-brag. If his date can manage to get past the album and listen to the whole thing and still want to be with him, she's a keeper. is pretty much the thought that went through my mind as I was listening to that song. And there's a part in that song which says, "All girls I do please." So it's possible he throws in little sexual references for future reference, for when he's playing it to a date, and it's a purposeful, awkward album to break the ice, perhaps? I don't know.
I'm not going to even ask about Oakmont. Oakmont. No, what is Oakmont about?
Oakmont, wherein all action takes place on the virgin American prairie around the year 1868, save for the end, which takes place in the Deutschland in the year 1926. Oakmont is a tale of epic proportions involving pride and prejudice. So, that's what it's about.
So like, here's something, like when you look for a girl, she has to kind of be into Oakmont.
Well, I don't know. I've had some girlfriends that were interested in writing, and generally I have had girlfriends that like writing, I have to admit. That's true.
The next 4 songs are readings from Oakmont. And the very last song, reading at the very end, sounds like German, sounds like he's quoting Adolf Hitler. I don't know what he's saying because I don't understand German, but it sounds very aggressive Hitler type German, and he references Hitler 2 times on the back of the albums. And I did see his movie What Is It, where he references Nazis and swastikas. But I think he has some sort of fixation on Hitler, perhaps? I don't know. It seems to be a common thread among celebrities. For some reason, they think Hitler was a rock star. I personally think Hitler was evil, but that's just me and most of the world. Okay, so just the gist. Creepy music. It's like going to one of his readings in person. It's interesting. It's awkward. It's funny at times. It's unsettling at times. It's peculiar. It's odd. It's original, but it's strange, and it's different. It's abstract, and it's absurdist on purpose. If Crispin Glover had a religion, it would probably be Discordianism. Chaos and absurdity and insanity and craziness on purpose for the sake of being that on purpose seems to be the gist that he's going for. It is a work of art and is very original and very interesting and peculiar, but I will be keeping it in my collection because it's rare and obscure, and rare and obscure is the type of things that I collect. I don't like the chaos magic going on here where he is mocking a religious figure by putting his face over Jesus. That's a form of chaos magic where you purposefully blaspheme a religion, whether you believe in it or not. He probably doesn't believe in Jesus, but for the sake of absurdity, he does it. And I'm not really a fan of putting Manson on here and quoting Manson and having a song named after a quote from Manson. I'm not a fan of Manson myself, and anyone who is a fan of Manson is a fan of a brainwashing sociopath serial murderer who may have not personally murdered people, but he brainwashed people and commanded them to murder people. And that's really dark stuff. He references Hitler twice in 2 of the clues. Very strange album, very peculiar, not for everybody. Very, very interesting, yet very bizarre, which is what I'm sure he was going for. I will be doing episodes on other albums in the future. I thank you for watching. This has been John Razimus with Occult Unmasked. Be seeing you.